A lot of great words said about me, but there's no difference between you and me. I'm just like you. Just that I am a little sensitive. I'm a little sensitive to what I've seen in my career, and I have developed a perspective. And so could you. India Future Foundation, we work on sensitizing people like you and me so we can move forward. Uh, People have seen a lot of news recently about uh, wars, impact. People are seeing there is so much amount of information which is getting spread through the internet, through social media. Today I'm going to talk about the topic, the missing link in the human dimension of cyber revolution. If we look at today, there is a cyber revolution which is happening in this country. This cyber revolution is impacting everyone. It's impacting you, it's impacting me, and it is also impacting our children. I have a child and I see he's getting impacted. It is impacting our elders. The way it is impacting our elders is that they get so much of information through WhatsApp, through Facebook, and they react. They react to every message, and they don't know whether this message is coming from a true source or it is a fake. And when you tell them that it's not true, it's hard for them to believe because they have lived in an age where all the messaging, when it used to happen, it used to be coming from a reliable source. But today, the world is changing. How is the world changing today? If you look at 2019, this is how we stand. These are the number of information exchanges which are happening. We are using so many amounts of digital wallets. So much of internet-based information is getting consumed. This information is consumed by India's largest digital demography. And it is really impacting the whole and soul of this country. It is impacting us personally, professionally. It is also impacting us geopolitically. How many of you recently saw the news or read on the internet about Iranian general being shot dead through a drone, right? And he's been made a hero. Couple of weeks back, we never heard his name. But today, his name, his death is impacting oil prices. It is impacting our economy. So while I was coming here, I read an article today. And it said that the death of this Iranian general would have economic impact on India's growth. Wow. Somebody whom we have never heard about has an impact on India's economic growth because it is going to impact oil prices. It is going to impact the oil production companies of this country. So today, the social media news is impacting everything around you. Now, as we move forward to year 2020, we would see that the number of digital children, I would call them digital children because when they are born, 1 year, 2 years, they're getting exposed to technology. And you and I don't decide what technology they watch. We just put them in front of a device. This device decides what they are subscribing to and it gives them preferences. And are there any controls to restrict the choices which they make? I don't think so there are any controls right now. There are self-regulations, but these controls don't exist. So, if you look at with so much of digitization happening in this country, who is really getting impacted? The masses are getting impacted. The next $1 billion population of this country is getting impacted. The affluent class will be able to take care of themselves because they have the means. But it is the masses, it is people like you and me who are really going to get impacted and our families. And we are people who are working class population, or we would be entrepreneurs, will be powered through technology. But while we are working in technology, do we realize that technology also has a personal dimension? It has a dimension to our family. It has a dimension to our friends. It also has a dimension to our neighbors, our surroundings. All that is real and it is happening today. So if you look at some of the digital initiatives which have happened in this country, you would see Digital India, you would see Make in India, you would see digital payments, you would see digital locker. And many of us are using these technology-based subscriptions. And everything is through internet today. The internet is really powering this. But do you believe all this is powering internet, or internet is just what you see? There is more to it. There is more to internet. What we see on internet today is just 4%. The real internet is 96% what we don't see. So today, while you're accessing technology, while you're accessing so many applications, you're getting also exposed to the 96%. This 96% consists of dark web and deep web. And the moment you get access to dark web and deep web, you would realize there is so much amount of information about you which you don't know is already floating around. There are pictures which you have taken in your phones, and those pictures have already leaked. You don't know who's leaked these pictures, but these pictures, if you go and access dark web, you would see these pictures exist. These pictures can be used by somebody against you to ransom you. These pictures could take away your digital identity. There could be multiple people like you won't even realize. So what is dark web? Dark web is storing a lot of amount of hacked information which is there today. So your financial records, your medical records, the records of primarily the transactions which you made on websites, e-commerce sites, all that is there today. So when you're accessing internet, just don't think that you're accessing the few apps. You're also exposing yourself to the dark side. And this dark side is there. And you have to realize that there is no way to govern this. So what is the threat which is really going to impact all of us while we are accessing the dark side of the internet? The threat is online extremism. The threat is safety of women, safety of children. There have been, if you go out, go to a slum today, the nearest slum, you would see the consumer of popular mobile-based apps like TikTok or PUBG. You would see people are going crazy about those apps. And what they're accessing is horrendous. You would see children going mad about video games, which they are playing online. And they are committing horrendous crimes. They're also becoming self-inflicting. You would see that many of these children today don't even realize that this develops a lot of societal tendencies in them. The other side is you have today given these apps also to your parents who never had access to these apps. And when frauds happen on these apps, there's nothing you and I can do. So when your father or your mother accesses a particular mobile wallet and he loses money, all you say is that there is a better way to do it. You probably missed out, it was a fake link which was sent to you, or it was a phishing. But can the next generation understand what is phishing or wishing? You and I can understand. But to make them understand, it takes time, right? But where are those controls? Where is that governance in this country? Where is that awareness? So we have given masses digital technology, but to provide them effective controls or to provide them effective safeguards is something which we are really going behind. An issue which really needs to be tackled today. The third aspect is digital identity theft. While we create so many digital identities using apps, a lot of these digital identities get redistributed and people would use your digital identity to make transactions. And you won't even realize your credit card gets swiped. Anyone heard about Uber hacks here? Uber hacks. So Uber hacks, right? I learned it when I was in a college giving a speech. And somebody told me that, sir, why are you using Uber to book an app? There is a mechanism where you could probably use Uber free of cost for 3 months. And I was like, wow. Somebody already knows the cheat codes and he's accessed a particular technology and he's accessed dark web, right? So today what is happening is as you and I subscribe to these websites or these digital apps, a lot of our data gets redistributed. You don't even realize, the company won't even tell you. And this data then tomorrow is there in dark web. And this data is being used to make transactions. So people are buying records, and these records tell everything about you. The records tell, what you're going to do tomorrow. These records are also going to tell that whether that information could be used to create a new version which can be sold to you. The other part which you are facing, the biggest issue is with respect to fake news, propaganda, and the digital divide. People being part of different groups or communities on social media get access to information, and they come from sources we have no knowledge upon. Now these sources just push data on us, and we see we don't react. But there is a part of our brain which is processing this information. And this information, when it is getting processed, is impacting you. You would develop a perspective which you never realize. But when you're talking to your friends, you're talking to your family, or the decisions or choices which you're making is primarily impacting. So the videos you watch, the channels you subscribe, the groups you are part of, they impact you. While we are accessing all this, there is so much amount of cyberbullying which is happening. And if you look at the laws of this country, I'm sorry, a lot needs to be done. There are initiatives which have happened and we are doing, but if you look at centrally, with so much amount of digital revolution happening, the bullying part, the safety of children, I think is an important aspect, the safety of women. If he gets abused, he doesn't know how to react. He doesn't know which helpline he should call. He doesn't know whom he should reach out to. We are talking about giving a digital weapon to our kids and then really expecting them to come and tell you that this is their problem. Now, a lot of times when you get trained, for a new technology, or for example, when you're learning for using a car, you get a help, you get a guide. But when you're using internet, do you get a guide? Or when you're giving a device to a child, does he get a book to see that this is how he should use it? These are the best practices? No, we don't have those. Now, what is the impact? The impact is you're making children vulnerable. You're making them rely on technology, and just relying on technology and not communicating makes them lonely. The bigger issue is this helps them develop a specific cause where they are not connected to society, but they are connected to themselves. And it impacts them. It impacts their physical and mental health. And it impacts not only children, it also impacts everybody. It impacts our elders. There are people who have started accessing social media, and they just rely on what is coming from social media, and they would just look at their phone and just sit there alone and be there the entire day. And you see that could also be a mental issue. That could also result in a psychological issue. Now, but how do you create a mechanism where the technology is not taking away people's life? Now, those are some of the aspects that really need to be worked upon. Now, if you look at some of the aspects with respect to digital identity, while the top people in this country can really have access to services because they've got the money, but the masses would really require help of government. They will require help of nation state actors. They would require help of central and state governments to ensure that what they are accessing is safe, secure, and trustworthy. And today, apart from safety and security, trust is the biggest issue, because you don't know a video which you just watched on WhatsApp was from a particular geography or a state in which it was proclaimed to be, or was it somewhere else? You don't know where that information really originated. Sometime back, there was this issue in this country where people from a particular part of the country were told to go back to their respective state and said that there is no space for them. And when you did due diligence, you found out that this actually came from another country, and it was a cyber warfare, a cyber terrorism which was happening to create a divide. And today we have seen that social media has resulted in riots. It has resulted in people leaving their homes people moving away to another geography because they feel insecure. Why? Because the content which came, the content was not evaluated. The content was not checked whether it is coming from a reliable source. And there is no actor which is really giving you information today and saying that this content is reliable or not. So you really don't have a internet governance or a central body coming and telling you that what content you watched is real or fake. You have to decide for yourself. Or you make a decision depending upon what you have communicated with your friends. So there are legal measures which are there in this country. You have the Indian IT Act. You have, the Section 66A. You have 507 of IPC. You have 499 of IPC. But how many people we have put behind prison under the IT Act? The law itself is so weak. So today, the requirement is to have stronger governance, stronger laws, and stronger monitoring mechanisms to ensure that the content which all of us are watching is real, is trustworthy, and it is not fake. So today, can there be more done on safety of children? Can there be more done on safety of women? Can the new technology policies which are getting created in this country have angles to take care of human aspect while they are there to serve the industry, while they are there to serve the government? The whole aspect is about the human dimension. The whole aspect is about people who are accessing this information and the way they would absorb this information and react. And this information creates more love, and it does not create divide among the people, and it helps us to connect with friends, with family, and not divide us through caste, creed, race, or religion. That's all from my end.